Hi friends, my name is Bhavya Mangla. I'm IATF qualified auditor and doing audit for automotive sector for the last 17 years. I'm again back with a very interesting topic. What is the key difference between calibration and verification? And that is in context to the calibration of instruments. Well, before going ahead, it's very important to understand that whether actually there's any difference between calibration and verification, because in our routine life, we interchangeably used both the words calibration and verification. So if we talk by definition, when we say calibration, it means that we check that with a unknown value to a known value, which is the master, and then we try to see how much is the gap and how much is the error. That is called calibration. When we talk about verification, there is a specification, and then we see that whether we are meeting that specification or not. That is called verification. Now, before going ahead with the difference between calibration and verification, it's important to understand that why exactly we need to do calibration or verification. So there can be few reasons for that. The first and the foremost reason is that we want to be sure that whatever readings that we are getting it from a measuring instrument, whether it is fulfilling to the requirements or not. Secondly, whatever results that we are taking from the measurement instrument, and we are taking a decision whether the instrument is, whether that part is okay or not, it will only depend upon that how much is the error which is coming from the instrument. So these are two key reasons that why we need to do calibration or verification. Now to talk about key difference between calibration and verification. So when we talk about calibration, we need to see that whether it is accurate or not. When we talk about verification, we see that whether it is working correctly or not. When we talk about calibration, our intent to see the error in the instrument. When we talk about verification, our intent is just to see that whether it is meeting the specification or not. When we talk about verification, our intent is not to compare it with any higher level of instrument. But when we talk about calibration, our intent is to see that whether our instrument is fulfilling to the requirement as per the higher version. Say for example, let's take an example of this thermometer, and there are different readings which are coming in the thermometer in Fahrenheit from say 90 to 105. So we need to see by using a higher level of thermometer that what is the gap or what is the error coming between this particular thermometer which we are using it for testing, as well as a higher level of instrument, so that we can come to know that what is the error coming and whether it is within the tolerance or not, and if not, then we take some action. When we talk about verification, in that case, assuming that we are using this gauge and we are checking some fitment with respect to this, so we just see that whether this particular dimension is within the specification or not, or with whatever tolerance is there. If it is within that, we think it is okay. When we talk about calibration, we try to see that whether the instrument is okay in the entire life or in the entire working range. Say for example, if we talk about this thermometer, so maybe the reading is from 90 to 105. So we'll try to see at 90, 92, 95, 100, 102, that in different stages, whether there is any error coming, and in case any error is coming, whether it is within the tolerance or not. When we talk about a gauge for which we generally do a verification, here our intent is just to see that whether this particular dimension is meeting the requirement or not. That's the whole intent. When we talk about calibration, in general, our intent is to see that whether it is accurate, if there's any error, and in case there's an error, that whether it is within the tolerance or not. But it is not the case with respect to verification. When we talk about calibration, our intent is to see that when we are using this particular measuring instrument, say for example this thermometer, so whether the master which we are using for the calibration of this and another master which may be used for the calibration of that particular master, if there is any traceability to any national or international standard. When we talk about national standard, it can be different for different countries. Say for example, for India, it is NPL, National Physical Laboratory. When we talk about America, it is NSIT. So for different countries, it can be different. But when we talk about the verification of a gauge, we are not interested to see that whether any traceability is required with respect to any national or international standard. If we talk about some of the key challenges that in general the industry faces with respect to calibration and verification, and this is as per clause 7152 of ISO 9000 as well as IATF 16949. So the first and the foremost is that the person who is doing calibration, whether that person is actually competent or not. The second important thing is that when we are doing the calibration, are we making sure that the environmental conditions are good say for example temperature, humidity? Are we making sure that they are within that guidelines that is being specified as per the standard? And thirdly, and the most important, while doing the calibration, are we following the thumb rule of 1/10 for using the better quality of master while doing the calibration? So if I do a summary with respect to the difference between calibration and verification, when we talk about calibration, we are talking whether it is accurate or not. When we talk about verification, we are saying whether it is working correctly or not. When we talk about calibration, we are saying that what is the error coming in the instrument. When we talk about verification, we just try to see that whether that gauge is fulfilling to the specification or not. My next video will again be related to calibration, that what is the key difference between employee-owned instruments, customer-owned instruments, and supplier-owned instruments. I'm regularly getting a lot of feedback from your side and they are helping me to understand your expectations. So please do continue with that. And in case you want to understand this particular video in much more detail, if you go below, there you will find a link. And once you click that link, you will find a blog there. So there you can get in complete detail about this particular video. And in case you think that these kind of videos and blogs are helping you to improve your knowledge and understanding, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and my website. Thank you very much.